Today is March 22nd, 2026. It is 7:54 a.m. So I'm just continuing recording things about the Middle East, all right, with the war. First tweet. Israeli submarine shot the ballistic missiles toward Diego Garcia, according to Russia and Chinese satellites. Another false flag operation by Israel, like the drone attack on Cyrus, which later was confirmed as launched by Israel. All right, they want other countries to come and take down Iran, but the other countries don't want to come. Okay, Iran denies targeting US, UK base in Indian Ocean, Al Jazeera. The UK has accused Tehran of firing ballistic missile at Diego Garcia Island. All right, the UK wants to join. The UK wants to join, but they don't have a concrete reason to join. So Israel is trying to give them a reason by doing those false flag attacks. So the UK could have a reason to join. So there's Russia and China saying, no, it's not them. And then, Iran is saying, no, it's not them as well. So what Iran is doing here is trying to give UK a reason. There was one video that I shared with you. UK journalists saw that the UK was sending missile to the Middle East, either for the US or Israel. All right, it's in one of my videos. Iran has denied targeting a joint US-UK military base in the Indian Ocean, Al Jazeera reported, citing a senior Iranian official. By way of deception. Okay, maybe it's something I need to know. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, by way of deception, though shall the war, Hebrew, there's all of this, is a phrase famously associated with the Israeli intelligence agency, Mossad, derived from Proverbs 24:6. It highlights a strategy of using intelligent deception and trickery rather than relying solely on force. Key aspects of this phrase include source and meaning. While often cited as a direct model, it is interpreted from proverb, often translated as, quote, for with wise advice thou shalt make thy war, end quote, or, quote, by stratagem you wage war. Mossad application. The principle has historically guided Israeli intelligence operations to maximize effectiveness despite limited personnel and resources. By way of deception, this is also the title of a controversial 1990 book by former Mossad officer Viktor Ostrovsky, which alleged reckless and unauthorized action by the agency. The phrase is sometimes debated, with the interpretations ranging from necessary strategic intelligence to the direct endorsement of deceptive practices and conflict. They don't look at people, the soldiers, as human beings. They're just a pawn on a chessboard or something. Next tweet. There's another false flag thing I have here. So it is now more and more likely it was the Israeli from a submarine in the Indian Ocean that fired the missile at Diego Garcia, trying to blame it on Iran. They also launched the drone at RAF Akrotiri. These lunatics are the real enemy, as are their paid propagandists in the UK. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And the US politician takes money from them. I don't know. Making the US more unsafe. All right, you could pause and read this. Let's go to the next one. Remember, the US have those religious people. How do they call them? Those evangelicals, all right, they align with Trump, and they are for some of these, and many of them help get these stupid politicians to take money to get in office, and then once they get in office, they're taking money from those Jews, Israel, all right, and then to create laws for them. My goodness. Next tweet. Breaking. This is absolutely cinema. There's a popcorn. Journalist. Trump wants help from Europe to open Strait of Hormuz. French General Richaud. He can go F himself. He wanted to invade Greenland, and now he is begging for help from Europe. There's the laugh here. This war is now isolating Trump. Yeah, it is. In a way, I think it's also helping other countries as well. Look, I think majority of the Middle East don't have a base for the U.S. And like on my last video, I played a TikTok video where this young lady was reading an article where they said what Iran is doing here single-handedly destroying America. All those billion and trillions of dollars that went toward military thing. I've spoke about where the military and the U.S. keep on saying to politicians, we don't need any more arms and equipment, but the politician keeps on saying, yes, they do, and now Iran just destroyed them in a couple days. All right, so let's listen to this. I think it's in French.
Alors écoutez, je vais leur faire un plaisir. Il s'est tiré une balle dans le pied. Il voulait envahir un pays de l'Union européenne, le Groenland, il y a quelque temps. Et puis maintenant, ses vieux amis qu'il n'a pas consultés, qu'il a méprisés, notamment les Britanniques, qu'il a dit on s'en souviendra. Alors si vous me poussez, voilà, et bien maintenant il a besoin de nous. Et bien qu'il aille se faire foutre, franchement.
Attendez. Vous y allez trop fort du coup.
Du coup, vous l'avez voulu.
All right. Maybe these people may not know the plan, but the politicians from Europe knew the plan. They knew the plan. But they sent Trump first to go do the stupidity first. And if Trump was going accordingly, they would have joined. But we have to thank Netanyahu for this. We have to thank him for it because he went and attacked first. He can't wait. And with Iran, the people who are in power, which they say about 95% of them have PhD education level, so they know what's going on. They know the law. They know the law of NATO. You attack one, you attack all. So they know if they shoot first, they're gonna come after them. So they waited, you know, made those school kids rest in peace because they took that off of like a world war that was gonna happen, where NATO was gonna join, and they will continue. Who knows where this would have been escalating? And I'm hearing now Israel is attacking, what's the other country? What is it? Lebanon. All right. Instead of focusing on taking care of Iran, they're like, forget that. They already got where they wanted. They're not getting the help, but instead they're trying to attack other allies from NATO, so and blame it on Iran so they could come and fight. But instead they leave that alone and they go into another country. They laser focus on that thing. It's to go after each country in the Middle East. All right, you could pause. What is that? There's all of this. All right, so let's leave that alone. Let's go to the next tweet. Those images or something. What is it? He's also helping all our enemies. What is it? Russia and you name it. But in a way, I'm sort of happy. Hopefully, with less military capabilities, they will leave other countries alone. All right, next tweet. Top Iranian officials drop a massive bombshell. He confirms diplomacy is completely dead because Trump intentionally used peace negotiation as a deception to launch surprise military strikes. Iran is now preparing for an existential war to the very end. Yeah, so they could leave them alone. All right, so let's listen 38 seconds.
I don't see any room for diplomacy anymore because Donald Trump has been deceiving others and not keeping his promises. And we experienced this in 2 times of negotiations, that while we were engaged in negotiation, they struck us.
Do you consider this an existential threat to the Islamic Republic?
It is an existential threat to the Islamic Republic, and therefore we have to stay with full might. The proof is in the pudding. What is important for us is the end of this game. And we are ready to come. I don't see any room.
Yeah, I agree with him. What is it? What was that? Was it in Sri Lanka or something like that? They have some sort of naval exercise that was going on. They invite Iran to join, and then the U.S. pull out. And as Iran was leaving, they attack them. What kind of thing is that? So when they're making deal with these people, the same way as the UK, I said before, they cross their fingers behind their back, and then they're making deal with you, and then later on they go and stab you behind your back. So there's no reason. I'm telling you, they show their card so many times that people have enough. Oh, did I put it twice? Yes, I did, I think. Let me see. Okay, so there's this here. A European blow to Trump. Spanish NATO troops and Iraq pull out and head home via Turkey. All right, so they're leaving. All right, so there's a music. Can we hear? Okay, it's music, so I just muted. There'll be screenshot in between. So Iran is defending itself, okay? They had all their things prepared. All those NATO countries was ready to take on Iran, but Netanyahu can't wait. That's the thing. He could not wait. He went and attacked them first. And then the reason for creating NATO, okay, if you attack one, you attack all. And Netanyahu effed this up for himself and the rest of the world, which is good in a way, because now that World War III that was deemed to happen, it's not going to happen. But what they're going to do, is it okay? Okay, it's still music. What they're going to try to do is lesser countries who don't have that military capability to protect itself, they're going to take it on them, like Haiti or Cuba, for instance, Jamaica, even though it's a Commonwealth of the UK, they don't care because it's black and brown countries. All right, so there's all of this. Let's go to the next tweet. But those strong, powerful countries, they can't take them. I hope Haiti and those island countries have some sort of a connection with other countries beside European and America. All right, next tweet. But for Haiti, one thing I think they could connect with is African American. Next tweet. Breaking: Spain withdraw forces from Iraq. All right, same thing again. I'm just gonna go over it really quickly. Same video, but a retweet. All right, let's pause this. Iran is single-handedly decolonizing the entire region. I think so too. Is anybody talking? Is it? Okay, it's music. All right, Spain has chosen to completely wrong path. They chose not to fight. That's correct, but withdrawal of forces is cowardly. Either way, not just Spain, entire Europe is soon going to be irrelevant and geopolitical. All right, so there's a different discussion that's going on. What is that? And then they will be called veterans. Well, they join. That's the whole point. They join, and then that's that. And then they retired. They were vet. Next tweet. I mean, if they could avoid war and killing the young men, why not? All right, next tweet. Trump is finding out the hard way that you can't tariff Europe. abandon Ukraine, praise Putin, threaten to invade Greenland, constantly insult Europe, and then expect Europe support an illegal and badly planned war built on lies that he launched without warning us. NATO is a form of alliance. Is a form of alliance. He think talking tough. This is why the UK sent all their garbage into the US to blindside the people. If you could do propaganda and do this, like Bojo's sister once said, entertainment, create it as an entertainment. But it's real life you're talking about. Reality will always remain reality. This is the thing. Let me put the Bojo video that I'm talking about.
I find it hard to see who is the winner here. I mean, Prince Harry goading the press is only, and forcing the press into humiliating payouts is not going to be particularly good for the Sussexes. And it's certainly not great for the press, which is on the hook. I think the total payouts for phone hacking and other illegal information gathering is up to $1 billion, and there are many, many more cases to try. So my point about all this is, I think we only have losers here, and it's in all our interests that we have a strong, vigorous and honest press. And if it was strong, vigorous and honest, I agree that the press would have reported more on the judgment, the Prince Harry judgment that came through on Friday, than it did. It was basically a broadcast story, far more than it was a print story. And of course, the print and broadcast are in competition, so you can sort of understand that. So my question is, who wins out of this? Has Prince Harry done the press lasting damage? Do you think that as a result of the judgment that went against Mirror Group newspapers, we're going to see some sort of state regulation of the press? I genuinely hope not. I don't want the press to be in the last chance saloon at all. I want to see newspapers thrive. This is my industry, and I think it's in all our interests that we have a thrive. And we've got the most wonderful newspapers in the world in this country. You read the newspapers in the States or in France, they're very dull. They're not entertaining at all. I think that we can have both a serious and an entertaining press. And that's what I want to see survive. I don't want to see Prince Harry destroy the industry I love.
They had the plan. The UK is part of it, even though it's not joining the war, because what Israel did for attacking Iran first, so they can automatically join. But they're still behind the scene doing their tactic thing. All right? So they were planning all this out. You blindside the people, create entertainment, and then the people will not know what's really happening, and then you could go and do your nonsense. They already pay the politicians and place their bases. The same thing I usually say in the UK, about the UK. They have their bases covered. But the people in the US, they're not as stupid as they thought. Will focus only on the media and not looking elsewhere for information. Many of the reporters in the US who remain ethical with their studies, with journalistic integrity, when they saw like Will Lewis took over, was it Washington Post or Wall Street Journal or something like that? I think it's Washington Post. They're like, no, I'm not gonna stay under that false information to the people. They branch out, and people who follow them know the truth. He was trying to defund, I think he probably did, defund NPR, PBS, where you get real news. But guess what? Other people can still fund those public broadcasters so they could get the news. He underestimates the people. This is the thing here. The people. I've always said about William, you stick with the people, you will be okay. They will stand by you if you're doing things right. All right, so there's all of this. What does that say here? One is stupidly dangerous. The other is dangerously stupid. Next tweet. somewhat considered like the 900s. This is not the first time I'm mentioning it. All right, they have all the capabilities, but they don't think of tactic or anything like that. They think just because they have the arm, the equipment, they could just go and blow and blow. There's tactic into things. I never served, so I'm not saying I know everything, but usually, let's say you're playing chess, it's tactic. How are you gonna attack your opponent and all of that? I don't even play chess. Okay, all of this is to the mind. You have to think before you act. I mean, they did plan, but they underestimate certain things. All right, certain variables. All right, next tweet. Breaking: Iran trolled Trump. Trump, US: if NATO can't stop Iran, we will take Greenland from Europe. Iran: if Europe can't protect Greenland, call us. Iran will protect it from mindless Trump. Yeah, he's pretty much mindless. Courage, 101%. Let's listen. I don't know if it's in English or in their language.
ترامپ اتحادیه اروپا را اول تهدید کرد، بعد التماس کرد، امروز گفته اگه نیاید ما میایم گرینلند رو میگیریم. من میخوام به اتحادیه اروپا بگم اگر نمیتونی گرینلندت حفظ بکنی درخواست بکن، ما میام حفظش کنیم.
Alright, so there's this here. Okay, countries that hated America before Trump. Alright, just Russia, certain part here. What is it? China. Well, I would not say they hated. I would not say they hated. China hated America. They know the game that was being played. Maybe Russia, I would say. And what's the other one? North Korea, maybe. But everything else, they were just playing politics. But now they truly hate. This one, I agree with, okay? Pretty much the rest of the world. And this is why I say, when Americans travel outside of the U.S., they better be careful, especially my guys. Especially my guys. All right, next tweet. All right, so there's this here. CNN report Israel is dropping massive bombs directly on residential buildings and eastern Tehran. The blasts are so powerful, they are leveling entire apartment blocks and several damaging surrounding civilian neighborhoods. Absolutely war crimes. They don't care. They don't care. And guess what? They have their...
Every night, the sound of warplanes reverberates across the city, followed by explosions that shake the windows of our hotel. Where we are right now is the east of Tehran, and the authorities say there was a massive airstrike that hit a residential building now. And the reason why the authorities have told us to actually wear masks when we're here on the ground is they say that obviously this is kicking up a lot of dust, and so it's better to wear a mask just to be protected. The blasts from the bombs that hit this area were so strong that it not only destroyed these buildings, but that it also damaged severely a lot of the buildings on the other side of the street and, in fact, in that larger block.
All right. Right now, Israel doesn't care anymore. They have their next group, okay, who's gonna transform or morph to something else to make people believe they are different, so they could carry out the next, to continue their devastation. The same way what happened to Nazis, okay? They find out who they are, what they are, they morph into the, what do they call them? Zionists, okay? So the next group that's gonna morph, who is still the same group, the Nazis, the Zionists, they're gonna morph into something else to continue out their work. So right now, while the rest of the world have uncovered what Israel, the Zionists are all about, okay, so they just bomb wherever they can so the next group can pick up. That's pretty much it. That's the way that I see it. Sometimes you have to put yourself in their shoes, see how they think. Next tweet. All right, so there's this breaking that you will never see this on CNN or Fox News. Israel settlers are now attacking the village of Qayyat and the West Bank, setting Palestinian homes and cars on fire and attempting to burn family alive. These people are freaking savage. They are monsters. I'm not even gonna show this properly, okay? They just running. They all are savages, monsters. All right, next tweet. I'm just showing you some of the things that I've seen under my timeline. All right, so there's this here. Breaking: Israel police have arrested an Indian man for filming a video showing widespread destruction near the Dimona nuclear facility in Arad, Israel. I mean, when they arrest him, where they gonna keep him when bombs is dropping? Just tell him to leave, go to his country if he can. In the video, Indian laborer says that Iranian attack was extremely dangerous when a missile landed near Dimona. All right. Oh my God, it's almost 2 minutes. I don't know if it's in English. Hopefully there's subtext. There was a video sometime last week. The police from Israel was removing surveillance cameras on public places. They didn't want these things to be shown.
Across the building. What is there, Jay Shuza? Leute, von meinem Kumpel. पूरा खत्म माल के ऊपर गिर गया। अरे मैं जैसे बंद किया ना खिड़की तुरंत गिर गया है। मैं खिड़की करके इधर गए पीछे बैक हुआ तुरंत गिर गया है। ये देखो यार रात मार दो धमाका वाला। अभी देखो पूरी गाड़ी आ गई।
Alright, so that's that. I don't understand a damn thing he said. Alright, so there's this here. How come it's not a school? PR hospital. Okay, I don't want to go too much into these comments here. Let's go to the next tweet. Alright, so there's that here. This was posted on the 20th. Alright, now Israeli ambassador to Russia has been summoned by the Russian Foreign Ministry over yesterday's attack on artist journalists Steve Sweeney and Ali Reader. Okay, I don't know anything about it. I thought I'd share that with you. It's like so many groups, like mafia type of people who join the government to control everything. There's a tug of war that's going on.
Who will be conducting investigation on this matter?
To not to be late for the meeting, and then maybe we can discuss. Okay? Thank you very much.
Alright, so that's that. There's this. Let's go to the next tweet. It's a tug of war that's going on here. These people, those how do you call them? Those they're not really politicians. Those mafias type of people. They find a way, instead of trying to run away from the government, they become the government. All right. So they're asking Grok, is this true? Explain. Okay. Grok says Grok is the AI version on Twitter that will say if things are true or not. But there are times when people ask that AI some question, they put false information. All right, the answer is yes, mostly true, but time precisely. Russia's FM announced on March 19 they summon Israel ambassador soon over the March 19 Israeli airstrike in southern Lebanon that injured artist Steve Sweeney and cameraman Ali Rada shrapnel wounds near a bridge while filming in press gear. RT calls it deliberate targeting. IDF says explicit warning were given, no civilian journalists targeted, and they're investigating. No confirmation yet. The meeting has happened. Yeah, so many journalists, Israel have attacked during that Middle East war thing here. All right, so now I think the next video I'm gonna start with this. Now this is other countries. Whenever Israel or even American go outside the US, they start they're not treating them well. Okay, so I'll start the next video with this tweet. Okay, so that is it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.